do 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 do. Do 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 do.
In the name of the moon, I will punish you. All right, one important thing that our viewers reminded us of, that it was mentioned before. Last episode we were surprised about it, but it had been mentioned before. Kyrie does have a daughter, and she is just not present during the events of this game because she wasn't feeling great. Miss not appearing in this game. So that was on us for forgetting, but can you blame us? There's a ton of stuff happening.
It's kind of odd to me that she doesn't have a spot on the character thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess that makes sense because she ain't going to show up, probably.
Yeah.
But also then that probably means that our guesses that that character was going to be important somehow were probably misfounded.
Maybe. We'll see.
Oh, well.
It's a Ryukishio 7 thing, so
Yeah.
anything is probably important at some point.
Fair enough. I don't know who visiting.
Who is it?
Excuse me. I have brought lunch. Oh, it's Kinzo.
Enter.
Excuse me.
No.
Well, all right. After receiving approval, Cannon entered the VIP room, pushing the service cart that carried lunch. The service called this room the Witch's VIP room. That was because Kinzo strictly ordered that it always be kept clean, so that it could be used at any time. Even so, guests would not be allowed into this room no matter who they were. That's why, at some point, the servants had started calling it the VIP room, which was supposed to be set aside, only to welcome the special person Kinzo waited for, the witch from that portrait. And today, Cannon realized that this was absolutely true. When he entered the room, the blonde-haired witch was wouldn't Kinzo notice that, like, hey, are you guys using the VIP room? Is she here? Is she? Why didn't you guys tell me? Come on, guys. When he entered the VIP room, the blonde-haired witch was gazing out the window. Outside, the rain was no longer falling weakly. She looked out at the beautiful rose garden, which had been tended to over several days for today's sake. As she saw the winds and rain ravage it, was she struck by some sentimental feelings? Cannon was not able to tell anything more from her back, which faced him.
I don't know, maybe she has a really expressive back.
I mean, people spend a long time staring at it, so they must be seeing something in it. No? Alright. I will prepare the meal, Beatrice Summer.
Yeah, you'd better.
Cannon went out of his way to call the witch's name, hoping that she'd turn around. He wanted to know. He wanted to know if the witch who'd tempted him and Shannon in the past had really appeared again. When he did, the witch whose name had been called laughed, her back still facing him. Holding back her voice, she laughed. Cannon was startled. It was almost as though she had read his mind and knew that he had called out to her, hoping to make her turn around.
It smells good. It appears Kraus hired a good cook.
Yes. He is called Goda. It was implied here recently.
There's nothing better than being skilled at cooking. Delicious food completes the 3 pillars of pleasure for living in the human world.
If that was true, how come I can't get anything more than a hot pocket?
I never said...
Battler, she never said she was good at cooking. It is the secret to preventing boredom after 1,000 years.
My line.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go for it. Like, why are you staring at me? Oh, no.
That's one more steak for you.
No, I don't want the steak.
Okay.
Okay.
It is the secret to preventing boredom after 1,000 years.
Cannon and the witch's eyes met. Then she grinned, without a doubt. Certainly, this was clearly the witch from that day, Beatrice. The witch that no one but he and Shannon could see in the past had finally held a form, and arrived openly as a guest through the entrance hall. Beatrice. Summer.
It has been a long time.
Someone put on my theme music.
Yeah. Canon, the furniture.
It has been quite some time. Canon tried to remember to be polite to this guest for the time being, but the visit of this suspicious witch made dark clouds start to enshroud his heart, especially considering that today was the family conference.
You appear to be uneasy about what I plan to do, now that I have appeared. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right, guys?
Who are you talking to? Canon didn't force an answer. This witch probably reads minds, so it's pointless to go to the trouble of saying it out loud. Of course she could read even his inner resistance. So the witch giggled at Canon's childish defiance.
I came to fulfill my final promise with Kinzo.
Your final promise with the master?
I lent Kinzo a mountain of gold. When Kinzo gives that up, it will be returned to me with interest. I came to accept that interest tonight.
I don't know what you're talking about. However, uncertainty began to gather in his heart. Whatever this witch had to say, it couldn't be anything good.
There's no mistake. Whenever witches have something to say, it's never anything good. You are correct. However, like scissors, the potential of witches depends entirely on how they are used. Sometimes there are those like King Solomon who succeed in great exploits. However, most who make use of us end up meeting a cruel fate, just like in fairy tales. But Kinzo is crafty. He has incorporated even my collection of the interest into his ceremony. Is he an absurdly powerful magician who can surpass even me? Or else a mere fool possessed by madness?
It worries me that those two groups of people have the same capabilities.
I know, right? I mean, have you met me?
Yes. We're sitting on this couch together.
There you go. Well, there you go. Amusing.
What point were you trying to make by this?
Absurdly powerful magician or mere fool possessed by madness. That's a Venn diagram that's a circle. Amusing. Truly amusing.
Canon couldn't guess what the witch was muttering and laughing about. All he knew was that anything that made this witch laugh must have the exact opposite meaning for everyone else. In the back of his mind, the horrifying words the witch had spat at him in the past began to resurface.
What? Did you think I'd lend you my power and ask for nothing in exchange? I'll gladly assist a pair in love. And in exchange, I'll enjoy watching the cruel fate they'll eventually meet. I have never come across a better show. Not over the course of 1,000 years.
Not even Seinfeld?
That one was pretty good. It wasn't about anything.
I liked the bass lick. Really going all out on these fade in and fade out effects,
Yeah.
huh? Okay. Gasp! Could it be that you...
Behold, the sweet fish river running through my beloved hometown.
Wait, why are we epitaphing right now? What is she referring to?
We'll see when we click. You who seek the golden land, follow its path downstream in search of the key.
Oh, she's just quoting it at him. I thought she was
I
like,
guess.
this is the sweet fish river that I've been metaphorizing.
Behold it, fucko.
Behold it! Oh, I can only behold its majesty! The witch suddenly began to recite a bizarre poem. It was something he remembered hearing.
Something about plums in the icebox.
They were so delicious. Could it be the witch's epitaph? There was no mistake. It was the epitaph that accompanied the portrait of the witch that Kinzo had put on display. The relatives had guessed that it referred to the location of the hidden gold, but no one knew what it meant for sure. The witch suddenly began reciting that epitaph.
Canon. Did you know this poem's about me? Pretty cool, huh?
You don't say, madam.
Anyway, since you are furniture, I imagine you've heard about it from Kinzo. The day when everything will be returned to the Golden Land has come. Rejoice! The day when you will be freed from the shame of living as furniture has finally arrived. I believe you've wanted that for a long time. To furniture, which finds no value in its own existence, merely existing day to day must be nothing but agony. To those with souls, this world is worth clinging to. But those without souls find this world to be full of nothing but suffering.
Oh, she's talking about my favorite video game, Hollow Knight. Or possibly Dark Souls. I have not played either of them.
They're not out yet.
That just raises so many more questions. Okay, sure, they're not out yet, but we still have a Nintendo Switch. We are not being very consistent with this fantasy world we've created, are we? Complicated expressions flitted across Cannon's face. This was the day of release that Cannon had been looking forward to. However, the coming of this day had been mercilessly sudden, and for some reason he didn't like the hateful tone used by this witch as she informed him of the coming of this long-awaited day of rest. Cannon couldn't even decide what emotion he should be feeling.
Why do you not rejoice? Could you actually have some regrets left in the real world? As mere furniture?
I have no regrets, because I am furniture.
You truly are a model specimen of furniture.
Oak finishing.
Excellent leather upholstery. How nice, how nice. However, it won't be fun if you have no regrets at all.
Are you saying that regrets are how you find pleasure?
That is correct. Most witches who live for 1,000 years get tired of life. In order to escape boredom, I adorn people's fates with fruit and brandy and cook them like cakes. I find humans dancing through oppressive fates inside an oven to be so very entertaining. You see, I'm actually a tad famous in this regard. You might have heard my last single. So much so that rare guests come from far away to see my skill at cooking.
Yeah, that's me. I'm watching this time.
Yeah.
It's pretty okay so far.
Yeah.
Taking a long time to get to past the build-up, though.
It'll take even longer if you don't shut up. Perhaps this is something that mere furniture cannot understand.
Cannon couldn't understand what the witch was saying. However, he fully realized that this was a terrifying being who treated the fate of humans as a show, enjoying it wherever some harm befell them. However, furniture has no soul or life, much less a fate. Pitiful furniture does nothing but serve until the day they're released from the real world. To furniture like that, the witch, who had come to release them from everything, was a being to be received with overflowing affection. Even though the day Cannon should have been waiting patiently for had come, he was confused by his own inability to accept it easily. Why was it? The face of Shannon, the person he loved as a sister, rose to his mind. And for some reason, Jessica's face did too.
Son of a bitch, am I straight?
Oh, bugger! Cannon bit his lower lip hard enough to find that it hurt. Thinking about Jessica like that was something furniture must never do. Even though he thought he'd known that, even though he'd complained about Shannon's relationship, why was it that Jessica rose into his mind at a time like this? He felt a little shameful at his own naivete, and to forget about Jessica, he turned thoughts to Shannon. Shannon is also furniture. She has no reason not to rejoice at the coming of the day when all will return to nothingness. Shannon, through her relationship with George, has experienced an emotion forbidden to furniture. Even though she isn't qualified to be bonded with him, she's still trapped in a dream that she isn't allowed to have. Will Shannon be able to joyfully accept this development? No, she won't. Shannon still has lingering regrets. Those probably will become a great source of pain and torture for her. And those lingering regrets were planted by none other than this witch.
That's me.
Why? Because that would be more interesting? Nothing more? This day that Shannon should have been waiting impatiently for will probably be a harsh burden for her, giving her emotions that she must never experience. I thank you for granting me, us furniture, the day of our release. And I hate you for making this day so difficult for Shannon to accept.
I wanted to make you suffer from your regrets as well, just like Shannon. However, you continued to live like furniture with foolish honesty, never getting ensnared by me until apparently just now.
Good thing that you didn't read my internal monologue just then.
Oh, I sure did. And yet, it seems you loved Shannon a little too dearly, right? Shannon's regrets are now your regrets. It's a big old regret party here.
I don't think that's how that works.
It is.
No.
It's contagious.
Oh no.
Will those feelings transform into hatred for me? If you wish to kill me, give it a try. Please. As Kinzo's furniture, you should have at least that much power, right? However, if you kill me, then the day of rest for furniture will not come for all eternity. Could you bear to live with that? Are you truly capable of resisting when I try to release you? Kneel.
What?
Kneel and kiss my shoes.
Come on, Beato, we have just started.
Otherwise, I will leave this place. I'll go back and never show myself again for all eternity.
Don't do it, Cannon.
So, Cannon, do you think you could bear to live like that? If the door to the Golden Land is opened, your hard life as furniture will end. If you desire, I can even give you life as a human. After that, you will be on the same level as Jessica. Surely you want to experience the taste of love. There's no point trying to hide it.
Oh, that face.
We're finally getting to the murder faces.
Yes!
After seeing Shannon indulging in the sea of sweet love, you grew jealous. You are sorely tempted to know the taste of love. And yet, you'll only know the taste of shoe.
Stop it, I don't want to lick any boots. You trying to ensnare me again? I won't be reduced to a toy for your amusement.
Huh.
No, try again.
Huh.
There you go. Huh.
Then I will be satisfied with Shannon alone. After all, you aren't the only one who was implanted with a seed. Even fruiting plants sometimes fail to bear fruit after all. The one who obtains the key must then travel to the Golden Land in accordance with these rules. On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices. On the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close.
Bloody epitaph. It's right in front of the fucking picture. The witch recited the epitaph again, so sudden and diverged so strongly from the current topic. However, that challenging smile made it seem almost as though she was using the epitaph as a threat against Cannon.
'Cause I am. The one who obtains the key must then travel to the Golden Land in accordance with these rules. That wasn't something that was specified in the epitaph itself. That the one who obtains... Does this imply the one who obtains the key is the one who ought to be committing the sacrifices? There sleeps the key to the Golden Land. Okay.
No,
never mind. It's exactly the same.
It's
exactly the same. I was reading into it to something that was not there.
No, it is very hard to keep track of all this stuff after however long it is and how long it's going to be.
Don't worry. It'll only be about 8 times this amount.
I know.
It'll be worth it, though. Do you not understand? For the ceremony of the epitaph to succeed, at the second twilight, 2 who are close must be offered as sacrifices. It could be any 2 who are close, a husband and wife, or even a pair of lovers. According to the rules of the ceremony, who will be selected is up to me to decide on a whim. Don't you think there could be no more fitting sacrifice for the second Twilight than Shannon, as she is now?
I mean, you could use literally any of the married couples.
And I will in later arcs.
You dirty! Canon realized something. Till today, he thought he'd given up everything else and lived as furniture, acting like furniture. But in reality, that wasn't true. He loved Shannon too dearly. Therefore, when Shannon was in pain, Canon shared in that. If only Shannon had continued to live as furniture, indifferently like Canon, without any regrets in this world, he wouldn't have had to be in so much pain. The witch planned to toy with Shannon, who had known the taste of love, whom she had taught the taste of love. She killed her. She wouldn't be welcomed into the Golden Land and granted a compassionate release. Instead, if the witch had her way, she'd be used as a sacrifice, subjected to the utmost torture and pain, and forcibly turned into a human foundation for this evil ceremony. And this witch would probably make Shannon meet this horrible fate, for no reason other than it was amusing to her.
You have to admit, it is pretty funny.
I don't see what's so funny about it. Where is the punchline?
Maybe I didn't get the whole funny thing. Funny is when they bleed, right?
My God. Furthermore, she was threatening to do this so that she could make Canon, who had never submitted to the witch, finally give in. It was that simple. In the end, though he had tried to resist the witch and avoid pleasing her, he had only made things worse and more amusing for her. After all, he was furniture, no a toy. They were nothing but toys meant only to distract her from her boredom. I mean, that's surprisingly more literal than you think it is. Tom.
What will you do, Canon? If you kneel, I might refrain from choosing Shannon as a sacrifice, see? That was almost a tongue twister. I've always wanted to make a toy like you surrender someday.
Oh, that murder face. Without even a fragment of elegance, the witch sneered at Canon and laughed indecently. Do we see what that looks like in the... Oh, wait, we've seen that one. That's not as great. Yeah. That's right, she'd predicted Canon's submission even before he'd made that decision himself. Canon chose to get down on both knees in front of the witch.
That's right, these shoes aren't gonna clean themselves.
No, don't do it, Canon! I know they're tempting, but don't do it! Wait, tempting? When did that happen? Curse you, Beato! It didn't matter what happened to himself. However, the one thing he couldn't bear to see was Shannon, who had given him his only reason to live during these days as furniture, being toyed with like this. That was why kissing the shoes of the witch was an easy oath for Canon to make. When his quivering lips actually touched the witch's shoe, Beatrice let a look of ecstasy rise to her face, then laughed with a voice filled to bursting. At that moment, the witch, who had grown bored of life after 1,000 years, was completely filled with the evil emotion that she lived for.
Foot fetish emotion.
What is with you with other than feet? Why do you want people's mouth bits so close to your feet?
After 1,000 years, normal stuff gets really boring. You get deeply twisted up inside.
That's not true. I've seen regular humans with foot fetishes. You might not like it, Battler, but that's what optimal love feels like. This is what peak performance looks like.
Every witch is just a bored stoner with a foot fetish. And inhuman levels of cruelty.
When lunch ended, the relatives moved to the parlor. Rosa had bought a high-class brand of black tea from a famous store in Ginza. That had been served, and the parlor was filled with a pleasant aroma. Since the children were there, too, the adults tried to interact like normal relatives on the surface, talking peacefully about recent events and how their children were growing up. It had started raining, so the children couldn't do anything but sit here like this, watching TV, unable to go outside. Maria was apparently a TV kid, and she kept watching a boring daytime program without getting bored, giggling all by herself. At first, Battler joined in. "Yee, that's me!" seeing to deem it his relationship with Maria. But he had gotten up early that morning and was gradually hit by a wave of drowsiness. Ah.
Oh, that's a big yawn. Did you get up really early this morning?
Well, something like that. Now that all the tension's gone, I've started getting sleepy while listening to the sound of the rain.
Tension? Gone? Just wait a couple chapters.
Don't do it, Beto. I've learned a new counter move. If I press down B while playing as Mirth or his brother Roy, I can use a counter on your move. And together they will find the fire's emblem. At least it is for me. Ah! Byler gave another great yawn and slowly lay down on the sofa. He really did look tired. George and the others had tried talking to him, thinking it was a sign of boredom, but when they realized he was really sleepy, they decided to let him be. They say that if you lie down right after eating, it'll become a mackerel. Oh ho ho! Stop kidding around. Goda-san said we'd be having calf steak tonight. That'd make it mackerel steak.
Kumasawa-san.
Maybe I should have coffee or something.
He looks pretty tired. Could you get him a blanket?
Here you go. Kumasawa brought a blanket from over on the shelf.
And then the blanket turned into a mackerel.
The large parlor wasn't cold, but the air had gotten a little chilly. So when Battler took the blanket, he immediately wrapped himself up in it like a turtle.
You really were sleepy. When would you like to wake up? I'll wake you.
Never.
Okay, that can be arranged for.
Nah, I can't say I've got any particular request. You can wake me up if you need something from me. If you don't, just let me sleep forever. Night.
End of episode 2.
See, I thought the idea with the I'm still thought the idea with this one is that Battler was going to have to go around perpetrating the witch's crimes himself in order to give the appearance of a witch without a witch actually being there and prove that it could be done that way. But apparently, I'm wrong.
I wonder what it'll be.
Battler's sleeping.
Maybe that's what he was doing all morning.
A nap. I do too.
Hey, Maria. Battler's sleepy, so you gotta leave him alone. Kumasawa-san, could you give us another blanket?
It was doubtful whether Maria really wanted to take a nap. She probably saw Battler wrapped up in a blanket and wanted to do the same. When she received the blanket from Kumasawa, she joyfully wrapped herself up in it and set up camp again in front of the TV.
Sheesh. And just when we'd finally gathered all the cousins together after 6 years, this guy doesn't have a clue that he's the main guest of this family conference, does he?
Oh, but little did they know. Did I do it right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying. I can still hear you. Good easy getting lunch, and there's even a typhoon in the rain outside now. So I've got nothing to do, that means it isn't my turn yet.
I wonder about that. If you have a passive attitude like that and never do anything unless something else happens, your life will be pretty boring, right?
No, that's not what I mean. How should I put it? Times like this, I like to think about it this way. It isn't my turn. If this were a play, it wouldn't be my turn to go on stage. So the best thing to do is stay on the wings of the stage.
You're always the main character of your own life, right? Wait, no, I'm always the main character of your own life. It's me, the protagonist, Jessica.
Starring in Jessica Quest.
Why are you acting like you're in a supporting role? You've got to move forward by yourself and get up on the stage and put on a witch costume and sing a cool song.
Jessica, I feel like maybe you lost the train a bit there.
Yeah, that happens.
That's not what I mean. I'm trying to say it's not my turn yet. Sorry, I'm sleeping. My mind's a mess. Give me a break. Nom.
He's like, oh, it's not my turn, and everybody else is seeing it in this figurative way, and it's like, nope, Beato moves first. Once she's gone to the end of her second main phase and completed the cleanup step, then it's time for Battler to untap.
No, you don't understand. I'm waiting for someone to make their move in Words with Friends.
No kidding. You're so sleepy you're spouting nonsense. Let's leave him be for now. Hey, I can't let him get away with saying crap like that. You're always the main character in your own life.
I didn't say I wasn't.
I've got serious issues with what Battler is saying. Also, I've got serious issues. He's just half asleep. Don't take him too seriously. It's just that lack of guts.
Why is she the one, like...
You know, not wanting to go on stage just because you think you can't be the main character. Something about it just pisses me off for reasons I can't explain to my family.
With distant eyes, Jessica gazed out the window at the gray rose garden obscured by rain. When she put her forehead up against the glass, the pleasantly cool sensation seemed to chase away the memories she was trying to forget.
So, it just wasn't your turn yet? Is that it? Then, just when will you get up on the stage?
In that case, who's the main character on the stage?
It's me.
Why is it you? Oh, back to the hell void. Dang, it's like you think you could do whatever you want. What the hell is all of this? It's all screwed up.
I was merely amused that your reason for denying me was based on whether there were 18 or 19 people. I just tried changing my opening move, no more. Your greatest basis for denying me is simply that I wasn't laid out as a piece on the game board. So all I have to do is start by focusing on the queen like this. Isn't opening the road for the queen on your first turn one of the classic moves in chess?
Quit playing around. There's no way I can accept something like this, right? A witch came in walking right through the entrance hall, you say? Don't mess with me.
What's this? In the last game, I gave you incredible freedom in making your moves, correct? This time, all I'm doing is moving my pieces in response to your moves. Are you already giving up right at the start?
You bastard. Don't mess with me. And also, can I have some more of that mixed nut mix?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty peckish too.
I do like some peanuts mixed in with my cashews.
Yeah.
Like hell, I'd give in. Great move. Go ahead and just move however you like. Okay, so your turn's far from over, is it? Move however you want. Form a huge battle formation while you still can. I'll definitely withstand you. I'll definitely corner you. Come at me as best you can. I don't want you to have any excuses. You're not even close to making me accept something like a witch. That's right, just now it looked like Maria's candy was fixed with magic. But you might have actually had another one in the same candy hidden in your pocket and switched them with that little show, making it look only like you'd fixed it with magic. Yeah, that's right, that has to be it. It's useless, all useless.
Aww. Rosa saw the moment when the candy split into butterflies, correct?
You're a butterfly tamer.
Yes, that is one of my hobbies.
Who cares about that? That was a hallucination or trick, or maybe she just saw it wrong. That isn't a big problem. Also, does Battler not think about the fact that he's playing this game in the first place? Like, if a being capable of doing that is not to be called a witch, then isn't that just a matter of semantics at that point?
So, you throw out the part you can't explain as trivial? Geez, they should give you a televangelist program or something. I see.
Sideburn.
Is that your move in response to mine? You've dug your own grave, Ushiromiya Battler. It still isn't your turn yet.
Why do we have to take turns?
Allow me to make my move for a little longer. I'm not done getting my shoes licked.
I did not. Well, I did see that. Damn it, Cannon!
It has barely begun the turn of the witch.
You're making those feet absolutely moist. They're just lowering all over them. Yes, it looks like you dipped him into a swimming pool. Except the swimming pool was warm with saliva. Sorry. I feel like I've committed to a very bad bit here. When they started hearing Battler's snores, the relatives went their separate ways, leaving the parlor so Battler could sleep in peace. even though it had been so lively in the parlor with so many people gathered there. When all of them scattered at once and were swallowed up by the vast mansion, it created an eerie silence with no sound except that of the rain. Nope. I haven't met a person like that even once. Aniki?
I haven't met them. Kiryu-san, is that true? Even I only greeted her briefly when she came into the entrance hall. She looked like she was a bit over 20. I told her my name, but she didn't tell me hers. She was being guided by Genji-san, and I saw her go up to the second floor.
So it'd probably be faster to find Genji-san and ask him directly. Still, what a strange turn.
How do you get them to say the name of the thing like that? He could have used any other word. And yet he used the one word that seemed perfect to fit in with the meta narrative. How do you do that? The mystery woman had spoken to Kyrie. Without naming herself, she'd sneered that Kyrie should have had a vague idea as to her identity.
It's R1, by the way. That's how you do that.
Oh! Thank you! That brought someone to mind. And then there was her look-alike, the witch in the portrait. Was this person trying to say she was the witch of the portrait herself?
I realized she was probably laughing at me for that reason. Even though it was our first meeting, she spoke as though she knew I'm your second wife.
Aniki, you really don't know anyone like that.
You talk too much. I've never seen a blonde woman like that go in or out of this mansion.
That kind of thing doesn't matter. The problem's what happens if that woman starts calling herself Beatrice. If she starts calling herself the manager of father's assets.
Or maybe she plans to call herself his mistress's daughter and demand that she get a share of the inheritance. Either way, we've had one heck of a joker slipped into the deck.
That was a great movie.
Which one?
Joker. Wait, never mind. That one's not out yet.
Did Nissan bring her here? Or did father?
This is bad. We thought we could manage something if we could corner Aniki in our talks. This takes us back to square one.
I love that everyone here is just like, oh no, what's this going to mean for our inheritance money? While Beatrice is just upstairs gleefully polishing her murder implements.
So I feel like that tangentially reminds me of something. I had a Zoom call with my family a couple days ago, and it went very well, except for the fact that I kept trying to make jokes about how we were all there to split up the family inheritance, and no one really knew what I was talking about. And it just sounded rude, and I'm like, listen guys, I need you to step up your game here.
I don't know what kind of schemes you've been making when I'm not around, dear. But it looks like we've been given a little time to form a counter-strategy.
Yeah. Better to have some time to prepare. Then to have that blonde-haired Nechan suddenly appear at the dinner table and scare the shit out of us.
Until we know why she's appeared, there's a limit to the kinds of counters we can make. For example, some can only counter instants. What could she be after?
Isn't it obvious? She's going to claim that she's the rightful heir to father's inheritance. Father is still captivated by Beatrice. If he had a daughter with her, you can bet that he'd want to leave all his fortune to her. She might even thrust some strange will in front of us. If we take it to court, we could probably claim a quarter of a half of it. But it'll probably be impossible to divvy out the inheritance until that's settled. We can't have that. I can't, and neither can you, Rudolph. Same goes for Rosa, right?
Each one of us needs to gather money quickly for our own reasons. How convenient. It's our biggest weak point. So what are they after? Kyrie, can you guess?
This is all news to me, but it sounds like we're starting from the premise that we've got an urgent need to collect money, right?
I should have told you about that before we got here.
Kyrie-san. In a man's business, you sometimes need funding when you're on the offensive. Please understand that.
What's this, Rudolph? You didn't tell Kyrie-san about it?
I'm sorry, I wasn't really hiding it. Actually, it was kinda...
It's all right. You decided this wasn't something you needed to tell me about. I won't press you about it right here. What's more important is finding out that this Golden Witch is after, right?
Yeah. Now that you know what we know, and you see how our enemy might come at us. Can you do that thing where you turn the chessboard around, except metaphorically? Rudolph had a certain measure of trust in Kyrie's unique thinking technique, chessboard thinking. Of course, it didn't give him any more peace of mind than fortune-telling. But every time Rudolph was polishing up some important strategy, he gave a great deal of thought to Kyrie's advice. For a while, Kyrie pressed her finger against her forehead, considering.
Judging by the fact that her arrival was kept hidden until today, she must be planning to catch us by surprise in some way. We can't tell for sure whether she's after assets or being recognized as a relative.
But it's definitely one of those two things, and not to kill us all in hilariously gruesome ways.
Well, I mean, none of them take the epitaph seriously, right? Like, none of them are have been willing to accept that that is indeed Beatrice.
Yep.
So, come to think of it, Badler's angle is all about denying witches exist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet he's perfectly accept that Beatrice, the one who's making this entire thing happen, is a person who is there and doing this.
I don't see what you mean.
Like, how does he deny witches exist when he's literally participating in a game orchestrated by someone with these powers?
Astonishing stubbornness.
All right. I think there's a difference between saying that particular series of events could have been explained by something other than a witch to witches don't exist. What? That if not witchcraft, then what do you call what is literally happening to you?
Sounds like you're on Team Witch, huh?
I just don't see how Battler says witches or something of a similar capability of power don't exist without then saying because I don't trust the report of my own senses. At which point, what are we even doing listening to him?
What if that's it? What if in episode 8, he finally wins just by becoming a global skeptic?
Oh my god.
And...
just put his brain in a jar.
Yeah.
There we go.
However, her coming was kept secret until today. It probably means she didn't want us to take any measures against her. Something we might have done if we'd known beforehand. So her goal is probably something that could be hindered if we were to take measures against her.
that part's not false.
Understand?
I get it. So if she had a will that father had already written, or something that could prove that she's a blood relative, she had some unshakable, rock-solid proof like that, you'd think she'd announce it beforehand.
That's right. On the contrary, since we were in a position to doubt her, she could have brought a lawyer or an expert to thrust some completely undeniable proof before us. If she could.
So, the mere fact that she's launching a surprise attack shows that our foe can't win with a frontal assault. Makes sense. If a trump card can win no matter what, it's best to play it out in the open. If you play it in a roundabout way, it might end up weakening its impact.
Skipping to the conclusion, can probably expect to be faced with some huge surprise. Something related either directly or indirectly to the inheritance problem that's on everyone's minds. Our opponent probably plans to overawe us simply by the impact of this shock. However, no matter how great the impact might be, it cannot be absolute. In other words, we have enough leeway to take advantage of this.
You really got brains. Even understanding just this much is really reassuring. In other words, you're telling us not to get sucked into our opponent's pace.
In the end, it's an extremely simple conclusion. No matter what our opponent brings up, We should deal with it calmly, without rushing things. This is just the very first step in the art of negotiation. You really can't say you've predicted your opponent's thoughts with just this.
Come on. Just like usual, that was pretty good. Now that we know we've got a little leeway to attack, it helps us relax a bit.
What we don't know is how she's connected to Kraus-Nissan. Will it be a surprise for Kraus-Nissan too, or was he actually the one who called her here in the first place? If it's the latter, that might make things very troublesome. That's right. Secretly calling a mystery woman on the day of the family conference. It would be in terrible taste, but it does feel like something Nissan would do.
Aniki, let's do this. As long as she can't clearly prove her identity, we won't accept her position in any way.
That would be for the best. Already she's refused to introduce herself to Kyrie-san. We can't let our conference be disturbed by the statements of some unknown woman.
She might even show us proof that she's a blood relative. If she can prove father's blood runs through her veins, like with a maternity record document, there's nothing we can do.
It's always possible to suspect that physical evidence has been vague. And even if it's real, in order to prove that the person in the documents is the person we see, we need to check their condition at a hospital. At the very least, it'd be impossible to prove that now on Rokkenjima.
Little do they know, I'm here not to show them about the blood running through my veins, but blood running through the hallways.
Oh no, just like in my favorite movie, The Shining!
You're right. So in other words, it's something like this. No matter what's shown to us now on Rokkenjima, it can't be accepted as truth. We can't believe anything until the typhoon passes, and they prove it to us at the proper place.
Spotting all kinds of holes and stuff like this is Aniki's specialty. We'll be counting on you.
Are you joking? You'll be helping too. We need the money. We need quickly and a large sum. Our fates are all tied together in this. As if we just stand by and let some suddenly appearing mystery woman destroy the inheritance we're after.
Rudolph and Ava always formed a united front as siblings at a time like this. Sickened by the idea that their own inheritance might be snatched away by an outsider. Kyrie noticed how indomitable they looked, shook her head slightly, and gave a small sigh as she gazed out the window. Outside, it was still raining heavily, and everything was gray, having lost all vibrance. The lush garden that the sun had shone on earlier now felt like a lie. For some reason, the words Ava had said a second ago kept repeating in Kyrie's head. So in other words, it's something like this. No matter what's shown to us now on Rokkenjima, it can't be accepted as truth. There was an odd nuance to those words. At that moment, the island was closed off by the typhoon and isolated. They had access to no public institutions and no hospital. So on this island, no matter what manner of proof related to the outside world was shown, it would always be possible to call it a lie. It would be impossible to prove something was the truth. Now that they were isolated from the outside, all truths whose proof lay in the outside world could be called lies. So does that mean that right now on this Rokkenjima, no truth exists at all? Does it mean that everything will now be ruled by lies alone? It almost gives the illusion that we've left the human world of truth and have been shut away inside another world, one of lies. Kyrie remembered that woman's appearance one more time. She remembered both what she had looked like and the witch of the portrait. On this island, which had been cut off from the world of humans and shut away in the worlds of non-humans, a non-human being has come to visit. Kyrie couldn't think of the smile that had appeared on the woman's face as anything other than a portent of misfortune. Get the feeling my chessboard thinking's missed a vital premise, one that'll be necessary to understand a misfortune-bearing smile. Yes, that smile made me feel as though someone inhuman was mocking me. I based my reasoning on the assumption that our opponent is a human like us. However, just like this island is now, she may be a being that isn't human, and human values may not matter to her. If that's true, all of our reasoning is useless. For what reason has the witch been invited here today? Only one thing is certain. Now in this instant, she's staying somewhere in this vast mansion.
Maria, around lunchtime today, we met her outside, right? A woman. Who was she?
I said over and over. Beatrice.
Maria, did you ever meet Beatrice before that?
I met her every year.
Every year? In this mansion on Rokkenjima? I don't know what uwu means. Is that true?
Yes.
How long have you been meeting her? How many years ago did it start?
I don't know.
You don't know? What do you mean? Was it last year? 2 years ago?
Longer than that.
Rosa was astonished. Only the Ushiromiya family mansion existed on this island, so there couldn't have been any humans other than themselves here. And yet Maria said she'd been meeting with this suspicious woman every year during the family conference.
Twist ending. Beatrice just lives in the woods. In like a tent. None of y'all go out here.
It's not my fault none of you checked this place.
I have a pretty cool campfire and stuff.
Oh my god. If what Maria said was the truth, then that strange woman called Beatrice had been at the family conference every year. It's insane. Maria saying that that eerie woman was at the family conference every year, and none of us ever noticed it? Even though Rosa had just met the woman herself a couple hours ago in the rose garden, she was overcome with a strange emotion that told her not to accept that existence. What in the world did I meet with earlier today in the rose garden as the typhoon grew near and the winds roared?
Maria, you said you've met with her every year. What do you two do when you meet?
We sing songs and learn magic, and I learn how to draw a magic circle.
Really? That's incredible. Maria, you often draw scribbles, magic circles in your notebook, right? Did she teach you that too?
You know what? Beatrice drew examples to teach me. Come on, look.
Maria joyfully fished around in her handbag. Then she drew out a single notebook and began opening to that page. Most of the pages were covered with drawings that were literally scribbles. All of them were occult-like things, and while it might sound rude to Maria, who was just joyfully flipping through the pages, they were all creepy.
Look here, Beatrice drew it.
Oh hey.
Oh hey!
All the magic circles from the previous arc.
Nice. Each one of the pages in the group Maria opened to had an eerie magic circle. Furthermore, at a glance, Rosa could see that Maria hadn't drawn them. The strength of the strokes, the thickness of the lines, how clean the shape was. By itself, it wasn't enough to guess the background of the person who had written it, but it was enough for Rosa to be sure that it was someone other than Maria. Rosa had to accept it now. There really was a person on this Rokkenjima that she herself hadn't known existed until now. And this person had come to the family conference every year to play with Maria.
Maria, does the witch, Beatrice, live here? Or does she live outside the island like us?
Beatrice is the witch of Rokkenjima, so she lives on the island.
So you're saying she's on the island, even on days when it isn't the family conference, right? I don't know what uwu means. Yes or no?
Yeah.
What in the... I can't believe it. How long has this unknown witch been living on this island? I used to live on this island. I lived on this island passing the time in the mansion in the rose garden. Even so, I'd never encountered a witch like that, right? Repressed memory simulator?
Mama? I never meant to hurt you, Mama. What's wrong? Mama?
My head hurts.
I was probably getting a little mixed up with my memories from when I was a young girl. When I was young, I was terrified of the witch, unlike Maria. So for me, the name Beatrice was a synonym for terror. Surely my fear from those days has been revived by the appearance of a woman going by that name. She can't be a witch. She's obviously a human calling herself Beatrice, right? That's right. That witch entrusted me with an envelope. What in the world could that be? Rosa pulled that western envelope out of her pocket. It was one of the envelopes that bore the Ushiromiya family crest, which Kinzo used for his personal letters. And its red sealing wax had even been sealed by the head's ring, which Kinzo held. which meant this envelope belonged to the Ushiromiya family head. In other words, it was from Father. Why was a woman calling herself Beatrice holding it? Why did she give it to me? That's right. I'm sure she had to read this aloud at dinner. What in the world could be written inside? A sense of uncertainty gripped Rosa, as if opening this envelope might let loose incredible misfortune.
Boy, will it.
However, at the same time, a little curiosity sprouted up too, urging her to find out what was written inside before the other siblings could. Using common sense, one might guess that it contained a huge decision somehow related to Father's inheritance. Actually, since she had received it from a woman who called herself Beatrice, there simply had to be some connection. Does it mean this person wants not just the 4, but a total of 5 people to be included in the inheritance? I need a large sum of money, and I can't wait long. I feel like such a sinful daughter for discussing Father's inheritance while he's still alive, but this is no time to spout off cheap ideals. I've even colluded with Rudolph Nissan and Eva Nissan in order to get some money out of Cross Nissan. Coming from that position, I can't help but see the appearance of the witch as a sign of approaching misfortune. What could be written in here? I'm sure it's something frightening. I'll read it secretly myself first. I mean, if you do that...
It just says, made you look.
If you do that, then it breaks the seal and leaves room to everyone else to doubt that...
Oh...
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing is that the thing literally binding that together is the fact that it's sealed with the head's ring. So if you read it first yourself, then, well, you get to know, but then when you try to report it to everyone else, they're going to be like, well, that envelope clearly isn't actually sealed. You could have put whatever you wanted in there. The witch requested that it be read at the dinner table with everyone gathered, but if that's what she wanted, why couldn't she just read it aloud herself at dinner? Why'd she go to all the trouble of entrusting it to me? Simply put, is it because she doesn't mind if I read it secretly beforehand? Be better to secretly read the contents first. I understand that I mean breaking my promise, but this is no longer the time for cheap ideals. Depending on the contents, I should probably discuss it with Eva Nissan and Adolf Nissan and Rudolph Nissan too. They're always really good thinkers when it comes to this kind of thing. When I gulped and put my hand to the red sealing wax, something suddenly pulled on my sleeve, and I let out a small scream.
What? Maria? Don't scare me like that. What is it?
You mustn't.
Huh?
And Maria's expression was the same portent of misfortune she'd felt from that witch, and it sent a tingle up her spine.
Beatrice told Mama to read that letter during dinner. You mustn't break a promise with the witch.
That's not it. I just wanted to look at the envelope for a second. I'll keep my promise. After all, I always tell you to keep your promises. Of course I keep my promises.
Yeah, Mama's a good girl.
That laugh. It isn't cute, so stop it. Come to think of it, you received a letter too, Maria. What was written inside?
I haven't opened it. Beatrice said I mustn't open it until the time to open it comes. I'm taking good care of it. Keep it.
I see. You listen well to what Beatrice says, don't you, Maria?
I'm Beatrice's disciple, so I listen well to what my teacher says.
I see.
Rosa realized something. Mixed in with Maria's gaze was a glint of someone that wasn't her. If Rosa broke the rules and opened the envelope here, Beatrice would definitely learn of it. Because Maria was the witch's disciple. Maria was in contact with that witch.
I'll keep my promise, so tell Beatrice not to worry, okay?
I'll tell her.
Hey, Maria, if I wanted to speak to Beatrice, how could I meet her?
I don't know. Beatrice is very fickle, so she always appears suddenly. I don't know where to get her to meet me. But you know, she's always watching me. If I get in trouble, she'll definitely come and save me afterwards. She definitely erased her form and is hiding close to me.
Don't I always tell you to stop laughing like that?
Yeah.
Rosa reflexively hit Maria on the head. That put a stop to Maria's laughing, but wasn't able to release the color that had risen to those eyes. A color that seemed to bear a portent of misfortune. Rosa swore. She swore that, at least until they left this island, she would not leave Maria alone. She couldn't allow an unknown being to make direct contact with her daughter any longer.
What you wish, what she couldn't do.
Alright.
Maria still hasn't come back. I wonder if she's getting scolded by Aunt Rosa again.
Surprisingly, no. Ever since they'd met Maria at the airport, she'd been romping around chatting about Halloween the whole time. But maybe she'd cut loose a little too much. Acting a little too boisterous on the plane and on the boat and during lunch, because Rosa had cautioned her several times. At times like that, Aunt Rosa tended not to scold her much in front of people. More often, she would take Maria and scold her alone. So since Maria had been called off somewhere, they figured she must be getting scolded. When they looked at the clock, they realized it was almost 6 p.m. Of course, they couldn't imagine she'd been getting scolded all this time. Maybe it was time for some anime she watched every week to start.
What's your favorite anime? Mine's Sailor Moon.
Yeah, I believe that.
What's your favorite anime, Beto?
Not the adaptation of Umineko no Naku Koro ni.
There's an anime adaptation of... What's Umineko?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. In the name of the moon. Thank you.
Beatrice watches Shokugeki no Soma.
I don't know what that is.
Food Wars.
Oh, Food Wars! Oh, yeah, she would.
That and, like, weird foot fetish hentai. Only.
Only those two things.
You remind me of Tuxedo Mask. You gotta show up and then don't do anything and then you leave. Like, ooh, I was here.
She probably hadn't left the mansion parlor. I'm just now watching Sailor Moon for the first time, and it is a delight.
It's wonderful. I'm so
it's
happy
great.
I've finally convinced you.
I'm also glad I'm getting to watch the Viz dub. Was that who dubbed it?
Yeah, that was the one who did the redub that made it gay again.
Yay!
Next, you just have to read the manga and then watch the reboot.
I have the manga.
Then, yeah. So do I.
Oh God. Okay.
Anyway. Maybe Battler Sama woke up and they've been playing together. After all, Maria-chan thinks of Battler-kun as a new friend. She must have had a lot of fun when she played Halloween with Battler-kun at the airport. Battler looked like he was having a lot of fun himself.
True fact, I wasn't.
Maybe he's gotten big, but he hasn't changed a bit. That's true. I get the feeling Battler Sama was gracious enough to remain as he was 6 years ago. Shannon, do you remember what he was like then? Yes. Because he was, well, very energetic. I also remember the four of us playing together 6 years ago. Shannon acted a lot like a big sister back then. That's right. I get the feeling she was even more dependable than she is now.
Wow, rude.
That's me. Back then, I didn't truly understand my place, so I did quite a few rude things. Don't worry about understanding your place in that sense. When you're on the job is one thing, but when you're taking your break and with us, like now, I'd rather you stay and be friendly, just like the old days.
Aww.
That's right. There's nothing wrong with acting differently depending on whether you're the servant Shannon or off-duty Sayo. You aren't a slave, you're just working as a servant, right? Right? Please tell me that's the answer to this question, right? I think of
God,
you,
yeah,
Shannon,
hope so.
Sayo, as my oldest friend.
Aww.
Thank you very much, milady, though I'm not that old.
Not in that sense. Oh, that's funny though. It seemed Shannon misunderstood the hidden meaning behind Jessica's words. After all, she'd heard a bit about Jessica and Cannon's history from both of them.
Hmm.
Apparently George had heard of something of that history too.
His glasses reflection reads so ominous to me. I can never see his eyes.
It does.
They could be full of rage.
It looks like he's about to go full glasses push on everyone. He walked towards the window and looked up at the darkening rainy sky. That's Shannon.
Okay, thank you. You're really good at telling who's talking.
It's whose portrait moved. Her portrait moved.
It did? I didn't see anything.
Oh my god.
Canon may still be childish in some ways, but I think he's starting to grow a bit in his way of thinking.
Well,
Well, come on, quit it already. Well, I guess I let myself get swept away by the mood once or twice. You know, after watching you two, I might have gotten a bit jealous, feeling like I was getting left behind. But forget about me. More importantly, how's it going between you two? Looks like it's going pretty good, huh? I wonder... Yes, it's going very well.
Shannon was lost for words, her face red, while George answered brightly and immediately. That carefree attitude made it easy to see that the relationship was proceeding so perfectly it'd make anyone envious.
Dang, I'm jealous. So, does that mean Shannon's gonna resign and have a party soon?
Yay, party!
Murder party.
No, not that kind of party, Beto.
Every party's a murder party when I'm invited. I wonder... Oh, there's a good question. I wonder what she'll say.
George laughed teasingly as though pressing Shannon for an answer. That's probably the way they usually flirted when they were alone. Jessica could only smile bitterly and say, yes, thank you, that's enough. Enough of you, straights.
I have a dream. I don't just mean some ambition to become the leader of my own domain in business. I also dream of building a happy family together with a partner I can spend my life with. I want 2 kids at the very least.
So, I know this is kind of out of nowhere, but what exactly happened between George getting set up with getting a match made and George now dating Sayo?
I don't know. We'll see.
His folks seem pretty dead set on that, so what happened off screen to scuttle that?
Nah. It'd be nice to be able to do some sports as a whole family. Like curling. That one's my favorite.
I'd like to have an entire baseball team. I want to have so many kids, I'll make a sitcom out of us.
And many more.
We'll get a TLC documentary series.
Oh no. And many more things besides that. I often talk with Shannon about that kind of thing. Though every time I do, she always laughs and says I'm getting ahead of myself. For some reason, even at the age I am now, I find myself thinking about what it'd be like to live peacefully in my old age. With healthy grown-up kids and grandchildren running around all over the place, splitting up my inheritance, summoning witches. If only I could spend the rest of my life at a slow pace surrounded by that, together with Shannon forever. Yeah, you're definitely getting ahead of yourself.
You might want to focus on surviving the next 48 hours.
But how should I say it? It sounds like you, George Nissan. Being surrounded by a family like that would probably be so wonderful. I don't know, I don't have one. The ideal family I've painted in my mind is something like that.
To Shannon, who'd been raised in an orphanage, that harmonious image of a family was probably something to be yearned for. And George, who had made an absolute promise to grant that wish for her, may truly have been a fitting person for her to spend her life with. To Jessica, Shannon was a precious friend. To George was surely one of the most fit to entrust that friend's future to.
Well, I don't want to throw cold water on you guys, but I'm gonna. Splash! Anyway, Uncle Hideyoshi aside, what are you gonna do about Aunt Ava? Won't it be pretty tough to win her over? Ahaha. There's no reason for anyone to worry about something like that. No one but me gets any say in who I choose to be my partner. I will bring Shannon happiness. Whose permission do I need for that? Whoa, George Nissan, that was cool. Can't believe you can say stuff that embarrassing out loud.
Listen, when you... Everyone gets a little bit dumb when they're... We definitely said some things around our wedding time where I'm like...
Yeah.
But you know what? It's beautiful. You embrace that. It's wonderful in its own way.
I don't remember you ever being that kind of character in the past. Well, as they say, if you don't see a boy for 3 days, you should watch him closely. I grow as much as anyone. I intend to study more and more and grow to be the man Shannon deserves, the one who can bring her happiness.
Maybe even George realized how embarrassing the words coming out of his mouth were. What is embarrassing about wanting to be a good partner?
I don't know.
His face turned very slightly red, and he scratched his head.
George, son. It's okay. I'm sure Mother will be difficult, but you can leave that to me. You'll see. I'll make all the relatives accept you as my partner. Awesome. I'm jealous of you, Shannon. Seriously.
Frustrated Is that frustrated Jessica face or like determined Jessica face?
Yes.
Ugh. Yeah. Just gotta keep reminding myself every so often, like, whew, yeah, these are so much better.
I'm very grateful that you're willing to go so far. Come to think of it, I'm starting to feel like a third wheel here. Maybe I better leave, huh?
As Jessica rose with a forced smile from the bed she'd been sitting on, the phone rang. Before Jessica picked up the receiver, wondering what this could be about, Shannon looked at the clock and jumped. Apparently she'd spent too much time on her break.
I'm sorry. I forgot it was time for work. Then, if you'll excuse me.
At the same time Jessica picked up the phone, Shannon began dashing out of the room.
Ah, Shannon. Again, the usual time at the usual place. Yes. Excuse me. Hello, it's Jessica. Ah, Genji-san. Yeah, Shannon's going back to you guys now. We held her up, so please don't scold her. Yeah, yes. I see. So it's almost time for them to get ready for dinner.
Dinner of many envelopes.
To be fair, we don't know if both envelopes are for the dinner.
We know one's for dinner and the other one is for the right time. When was the last time the other one was revealed? They found it, right? And they were
yeah,
like,
it was
"Praise
under
me."
the door. It was under the door when Beato killed Eva and Hideyoshi.
Praise me.
Praise me.
See, I don't think that counts. I don't think that counts as praising her name. You can't just write something praising yourself and then count that as like, oh, look, I got praised. It's like, no, you didn't. You can't just like sit there and do it yourself. You have to get someone to genuinely praise you.
I think Beato's definition of praise is more like our definition of fear.
Okay.
So I think it counted.
All right. Many plates were lined up on the counter in the kitchen. Preparations for dinner were proceeding steadily. The number of plates lined up there was 19. That was one more than should ever have been set up for the annual family conference. Okay, speaking of which, that's gonna have to get filled in at some point, right?
Yeah.
When there were 2 gaps, I'm like, okay, that's probably just a quirk of how it was set up. But no, this is clearly intentional. Like there is intention. Because if it was designed with the relationships in mind, they wouldn't have had the servants go up the corner like this. They would have had them all on their own thing, all of the family tree. No, they did it specifically like this. We're getting a 20th character. That was one more than should have been set up for the annual family conference. I can't accept it. Why can't I deliver it directly? Goto-san flared up at Genji, paying no heed to the pot that was spitting steam. The master enjoyed eating alone in his study, so his food needed to be served in that room. However, that was something that always happened. Of course, Goto would want to set the table for the master with his own hands, since he'd put his heart and soul into his cooking. But the master had imposed a strict rule that none of the servants bearing the golden eagle crest Enter his study. I never noticed that. Goda doesn't have the golden eagle crest. Is that because he's an outside hire, so he's not like...
He's not furniture.
He's not furniture. Or he's not raised to be conditioned like that. What about Kumasawa? Because I remember Kumasawa was kind of on again, off again.
She also doesn't have it, right? Yeah,
That's correct.
She's just here.
So these... I know these two were raised specifically for the job. And... presumably Genji's been doing it a long-ass time.
So why can Nanjo come in? I guess just he's buds.
I guess because at a certain point you have to be like, okay, I literally need someone whose job it is to know this shit to take care of me.
I just need someone to beat me at chess.
There you go. But Goda and Kumasawa can't. Okay, because they've been on again hires. Gotcha. So while Goda-san would be able to greet the master from outside the study, not once had he been able to honor of carrying his cooking inside. Goda-san was always irritated by this. Of course, he was a newcomer in terms of years of service. However, he had piled up plenty of experience from his previous jobs and was quite confident that he'd be able to perform in front of Kinzo in a manner that would do him no disservice. And yet, simply because he was not permitted to wear the golden eagle, he still hadn't been blessed with this honor. I'm not even getting all the way on screen now. Can you imagine what damage that would do to his pride? You might think tonight was a repeat of that, but it wasn't. Because tonight there was a person other than the master who wanted their food carried to their room. Apparently this person is an extremely rare and honored guest. We've been given strict orders to treat them in the same manner as the master, the family head. Goda-san must have wanted to earn some points by serving this honored guest with his own hands. After all, he was an extremely vain person. If he wasn't qualified to serve the master, then at least a guest of the same rank. He simply couldn't find the time during lunch, so Kanon-san had gone in his place. So he truly desired to personally serve this person tonight's meal, the best dinner of the year. But Genji-san had put a stop to that. Something about how Goda-san didn't wear the golden eagle. After being told once more that he wasn't qualified, Goda-san lost his patience. So heartrending Goda-san. I cannot do anything more than watch like this from the shadows. Kumasawa-san, if you have enough free time to dawdle around, please get the dining hall ready. Is the tablecloth set? Also, we're getting so many more, like, angry faces.
Yeah.
It's remarkable that, like, everyone was generally very composed during the last one.
I wonder how things will continue to devolve from here.
But, like, it's... Yeah. It reminds me of another game that famously puts you through the same scenario a second time with the characters around you kind of devolving into more fervent versions of themselves. And one of the most surefire signs that things were not right second time around was everyone's expression suddenly become way more animate and out of control because they like something has changed so fundamentally in their world that they are no longer themselves.
What game are you describing? Is it a spoiler?
It's a mild spoiler, so I don't want to...
Okay.
In case there's, like, one of the two people in the world that hasn't played that game yet.
Because it sounds like you're describing a different game that you have not played.
Oh, no. I'm describing,
It's a secret.
It's a secret, don't worry about it. It's a game we played on this channel, but it's a secret.
Okay.
My apologies. Zoom right on out. When it became her turn to bear his wrath, Kumasawa slid out into the hall. Beatrice-sama is exactly the same rank as the master. All rules regarding her are to be respected just as much as those involving the master. Goda-san, please devote your attention entirely towards your own task and serve all the relatives. I wouldn't mind if it was you, Genji-san, but is it really okay to let a child like this serve such a guest? If she made some blunder, it would be quite embarrassing. You know, they've served here a long time, but that doesn't mean they've been trained in the proper areas. If you'll allow me to speak freely, they are completely lacking the fundamentals that might qualify them to interact with such a guest. Well, you're not wrong, but... Goda spoke bluntly, even though Shannon was standing right there in the kitchen. Shannon was the one whom Genji had ordered to carry dinner to Beatrice's room. By the ranking system among the servants permitted to wear the golden eagle, Shannon certainly was the second highest in rank. The highest ranked, Genji, went to set the table in Kinzo's room, then it fell to Shannon to set the table in Beatrice's room. Goda's pride was horribly injured by this ranking system. At times like this, he'd speak out bluntly and rudely against Shannon and Cannon. Goda kept raising examples of each of Shannon's failures until now, making a ruckus about how she couldn't do this or was terrible at that. Shannon, who listened to this with her head hung in shame, heard Cannon's voice from behind her. Cannon had been leaning against the wall in the hallway near the kitchen entrance, a blind spot from the inside. He'd been listening to all this. Probably knew that if he entered the kitchen, sparks would start to fly his way.
I've got to say it. The man's scum.
But we could learn a lot about the fundamentals of entertaining guests from him. Oda-san has learned so much, so he'd be a great reference.
Nei-san, you sure are nice.
More importantly, is the guest in the VIP room really Beatrice-sama, as they say?
Yes, I met her when I was sent to serve her lunch.
And I served her a bit more than that.
What was that?
Nothing.
There can be no doubt it's her.
But then, like, they don't know it, but Shannon's probably one of the best picks you could, because at least Shannon, at least to her perspective, has a friendly rapport with Beatrice.
Really? Was she doing well?
What is Beatrice doing up there all day? Is she, like, reading? Is she, like... I don't know. I want to know the answer. What is she doing?
Spending 5 hours deciding which pair of shoes to wear for the next shoe job.
How does one pick what shoes they want to wear when they're getting a shoe job?
Magic.
That doesn't help. I'm looking for practical advice. Cannon remembered that he and Shannon had different impressions of Beatrice. To Shannon, Beatrice was a cupid of love who had granted her magic to establish her relationship with George. Judging by the expression that rose to her face, it looked like she couldn't wait to inform Beatrice of how her relationship with George had progressed. However, Cannon already knew. That witch came here with a terrifying goal in mind. The nebulous witch that they'd only been able to see in the past had now revived so fully she could walk in openly through the front door. And even have dinner carried to her. Once when she'd vanished from in front of Cannon, the witch said something about how her own power was still weak. So if the witch was now appearing so openly, did it mean she'd finally regained her former power? As she'd said something else too. She definitely said she'd sown the seeds of love, while fully aware that they would fail. And she even said more. She definitely said that the day had finally come upon which the door to the Golden Land would be opened.
Shannon, she's planning to hold some bizarre ceremony with the Master. You can bet it'll be something too horrible to imagine. And no one will be able to resist.
What are you talking about?
She came here. She came here at the Master requested so the door to the Golden Land could open. So that everything would be returned to the Golden Land. She definitely said that to me.
In the past, the two of them, as furniture working for Kinzo, had been told what opening the door to the Golden Land implied. So Shannon understood everything without having to ask a single question. Oh, so she understands that that means they all about to die.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And because of that, she felt a deep despair. Haha, yeah, bitch. Something tore at Cannon's heart as he looked at that expression with twisted grief.
How could... Why? Why now?
Didn't I tell you? We are furniture. Because you acted like a human because of love, you're incapable of obediently accepting the day our service comes to an end.
Once I wished this day would come, but it never came year after year. I didn't know how long we'd be forced to endure suffering as furniture. So I thought that day of rest wouldn't come for all eternity.
I thought the same thing, but I believed that it would definitely come someday. So I never forgot that I'm furniture. But Nei-san, you did forget.
It's my fault, isn't it? It was I who...
Yeah, it's your fault, Nei-san. Oh, whoa! If only you hadn't experienced love, we'd both be happy that this day has finally come. built up too many pointless regrets, even though you knew you'd have to leave this world someday.
Will the ceremony begin tonight?
Yes. And she said one more thing. Tonight, George-sama will probably give you an engagement ring, Nissan. That was a fact. George supposedly had an engagement ring hidden in his pocket today. And surely he would hand it over tonight. She brought you two together, planning to use you as sacrifices of the second twilight. Get it? She tempted you and took advantage of you.
I see. I never thought of that.
But she told me. She promised that if you don't accept the engagement ring tonight, you won't be chosen as a sacrifice, Nei-san. Well, she said she wouldn't be chosen as a sacrifice for that particular part of the... Like, there's plenty of other sacrifices that have to happen. And...
She didn't die in that one last time.
Yeah. I don't think this works the way you think it does,
Yeah.
Canon. I think our chances of being able to go to the Golden Land together are very slim. There will be 13 sacrifices. Only 5 will be left alive. The chances of us being part of that group are tiny. But if you just accept her offer, those chances will rise. I want to take that bet. Okay, so, no, he's saying that at least that disqualifies you from being in that one thing. That doesn't secure your chances, but it makes it better.
Yeah.
Okay. Our salvation is the Golden Land. We're going to reach that place and gain humanity. And I want to live life as a human together with you, Nei-san. Nei-san, if we do that, we might be able to find true love. In the past, we used to be able to dream about going to the Golden Land. If we go there, any wish will be granted. We'll be saved from this pain. It's what we believed. However, in this ceremony, only a few people would be invited to the Golden Land, chosen by fate and chance. Everyone else would lose their life as a sacrifice midway through the ceremony. However, in the past, Shannon and Cannon had thought that whether they reached the Golden Land or were sacrificed, they would still be released from their duties as furniture. That meant the ceremony would definitely bring release to furniture like them, no matter what happened. I don't like it. Together with you, I want to make up for all the suffering we've endured. I won't become a sacrifice. Nei-san and I will remain alive. But we'll reach the Golden Land together. I just so hope Battler doesn't make it in there and starts disbelieving everything. So I won't let you become the sacrifice of the second twilight. Please, Nei-san. Don't accept that man's ring. If you don't accept that, she promised not to select you as a sacrifice.
I cannot do that. Tonight's ring is very special. My heart won't let me refuse it.
Nei-san. The sacrifices of the ceremony are decided on the witch's whims. That witch has promised to overlook just you, Nei-san. You alone will definitely be able to go to the Golden Land.
Only me? What about you, Canon-kun?
The witch's game is enough for me. I'll slip through her clutches. I am not powerless. That's true. But I don't quite understand why. Because last time, remember, Cannon was one of the only people that confronted her directly.
Yeah.
And and I imagine he only did that because he had some semblance that he might be able to win.
Maybe.
I'll tightly grasp that faint chance. After all, our lives are transient, aren't they? In order to begin our real lives, let us drag ourselves to the Golden Land. Then we will gain humanity. And when we've done that, maybe I'll decide to experience romance just like you, Nei-san. Maybe I won't have to make someone cry just because I'm furniture.
Canon-kun.
I've had enough of being furniture. I'll definitely become human, just like Detroit. I'll escape this pain no matter what. There were tears in Cannon's eyes. By now, Cannon had noticed. Shannon hadn't been the only one to know and suffer from the taste of love. He had, too. The tears Jessica had shown him that day, and Jessica's pitiful face as she tried to smooth things over and stay bright as ever since then, had slowly wrought some kind of change on Cannon's heart without him knowing it. Shannon, I've been calling you for some time now. Shannon jumped at the sound of Genji's voice. Apparently he had called for her repeatedly. She hurriedly answered.
When she turned back, Cannon had disappeared. It seemed like he didn't feel like showing his tears to anybody.
Yes. I'm sorry for being careless.
I entrusted Cannon with the lunch, but it should have been you, as the next in rank after me, who carried it. Beatrice-sama is the most honored guest of this house. There's no more honored guest than her. Please think of her as another master, and be polite. Please, take extra care that you make no blunders, you understand? Quite painful for me to entrust this to someone as inexperienced as yourself, but there's nothing we can do about the house's rule. Carry out your duties with the utmost of care.
I love that Goda's like, wow, this is so rude and awful to me. I want to have a golden wing, and I want to go meet Beato, and everybody else is like, you poor fucker. You don't want to have a golden wing. You don't want to meet Beato.
What a poor sod. Goda had officially agreed, but he glared at Shannon with an expression that told her he definitely wouldn't forgive any mistakes. Even Shannon felt that Goda might as well go himself if he was so desperate to go, but she considered this one of her responsibilities as the one who'd been allowed to wear the golden eagle, and had to give up. And anyway, I wanted to meet Beatrice. What will I talk about? What will I ask? I don't know. Will this be a meeting of gratitude, or one of grief?
Or griefitude.
What is griefitude?
A new emotion I invented.
You can't just invent new emotions by matching two emotions together.
Just watch me.
Oh yeah?
I'll give you an emotion in a minute.
Oh yeah, well I'll send you tumbling through ointment. I'm very hangry oh! I came up with one.
See, it works.
Oh, I like that one. Feed me or I'll be angry at you. And no more hot nuggets. Or else what? I don't know. Shannon piled the witch's food onto the serving cart and left the kitchen at a slow pace. Question.
Yes.
If they have carts to which to serve food and they bring those carts upstairs, do they carry them or do they have like a service elevator?
Probably they have all kinds of service elevators and stuff.
Okay. The person knocking was Kraus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's me. Oh, I completely forgot I'm in this game. Father, today is our annual family conference. Haven't the siblings gathered here just to get a glimpse of you?
Ah, be silent. I say I won't leave. You're there too, aren't you, Genji? Why haven't you had my food brought here as I ordered you to?
Kinzo screamed across the door. Genji was waiting behind Kraus. Looks like it's my turn to step in and get yelled at. Your meal has been prepared so that it might be carried to the study. However, Kraus-sama has expressed his wish that you eat downstairs tonight. Father, I'm not asking you to do this every day. Just this one night. Won't you gather with your family?
Who are you calling family? Since when have you considered vultures circling in wait for roadkill to be family? These guys suck. Why would I want to eat dinner with them?
I mean, Kinzo's not wrong.
And me too. Why would they want to eat dinner with me? We're all awful jerk-offs here.
Yeah.
Anyway, would you call rotting, oozing maggots family as well?
My. Kraus shrugged at this answer, which he had half expected. Genji, carry the meal here as you were told.
Wait, that's me.
Oh, that's you, sorry.
Genji, carry the meal here as you were told. Why don't you listen to what I say? Why? Why?
Genji-san, I leave this in your capable hands. My voice will no longer reach that man. Kraus gave his head a small shake, then quickly turned his back on the door to the study. He had only come calling to save face in front of his siblings, knowing full well how useless this was. After Genji watched Kraus disappear down the stairs, he called again across the door. Master, you have finished preparations for your meal to be carried here. Shall I bring some for Dr. Nanjo as well? Nanjo could be seen in the study, because Kinzo had forcibly pestered him into finishing their long-lasting chess game. They had been playing against each other since early evening. Nanjo had announced his doctor that Kinzo's days were numbered, so he couldn't refute. But we know that that's not necessarily true because Kinzo's in on it somehow. Or because
we know that
Nanjo
Nanjo and Genji had been talking to, was it Natsuhi?
Yeah.
And we're making sure to keep Father isolated.
Yeah.
That's
But
interesting.
why?
But
especially
why?
especially because if that supposed devotion to him as furniture is really that strong.
Dr. Nanjo's a witch.
I don't know where you pulled that from, but all right. So he couldn't refuse if Kinzo demanded that they finish this game while he still lived.
I'm imagining Dr. Nanjo in a magical witch outfit. But still all jowly and walrus mustached.
I will never the moon. I will punish him.
Exactly. Oh.
Oh, it's my favorite. Kinzo was thinking deeply about his next move, concentrating more than usual. It had been Kinzo's turn for quite some time, and Nanjo, who was tired of waiting, had randomly pulled out a book on magic that he couldn't understand. There we go. And was skimming it. Kinzo-san, you won't think of a good move just by folding your arms and sitting in front of the board. First, we'd better take a break and refresh our mind.
Be silent. If I stare at the board long enough, I can move the pieces with my mind. That's my new theory. We've only been sitting here for 3 days. It's not long enough for an empirical result.
How is that working out for you?
Pretty well. That should be enough to solidify my defense. Will the bishop and the knight be able to penetrate that opening? Oh no, I've distracted myself.
Today, Kinzo was focused on maintaining a strong defense. Normally, Kinzo's motto was that offense was the best defense. However, today was completely the opposite. I'm also hungry. So we suspend the game here. Besides, I've used my head so much without a break that I'm already feeling dizzy. I was afraid I might not be able to perform at my best.
Now that won't do. In chess, both players must always make their best moves. Any other sort of move is merely a nuisance to consider, ruining a game whose focus is predicting
that's
your
the whole
opponent's
point.
thoughts.
Is that if you make moves that aren't the optimal moves, then that fucks up your opponent's calculus. What was the one chess move that you're so fond of?
The bong cloud opening.
Exactly. Isn't that just move your pieces in essentially random ways just to obfuscate any chance your opponent had at planning? Anyway, Kinzo sighed deeply and finally shifted his gaze away from the board. Chess isn't chess without an opponent. That opponent is tired and wants to suspend the game. There's no getting around it. True, the goal of chess is for both players to make the best possible moves and aim for victory. It's an intellectual game where reading your opponent is key. But Kinzo-san, have you forgotten that there's another goal besides victory?
What? What other goal could there possibly be?
To think that you of all people would forget something like that. Chess is a way to pass the time, having fun with a friend.
You've got me there. I believe I once said those exact words to you long ago. Yes, you've got me there.
Kinzo, who almost always wore a frown, relaxed his face for once and laughed. Nanjo felt like he'd been reunited with a close friend he hadn't seen in ages. That's all we're doing. Now that I've managed to take a shot back at you, what did you say? Will you go down with me and have dinner? Why don't we discuss Kasparov's middle game along with some coffee?
An appealing proposition. But I'm afraid I must decline. I can no longer leave this room. After all, the ceremony has already begun.
Is that so? Well, my stomach is growling. I will go downstairs. Anytime you feel like it.
Nanjo. Thank you.
What could you ever think I'm here for?
We didn't finish our match. However, it seems I have somehow achieved that second goal of chess, which I had forgotten. And it would appear that goal is no less important than achieving checkmate.
That isn't like you. Why so sentimental?
You said it yourself, did you not? My days in this world are numbered. Now go. And don't come to this room again. Let us continue this match in the Golden Land.
That is fine with me. But we'll have to start over. Losing that rook was a serious blow. Well then, I shall see you later.
Yes, later. Maybe in the Golden Land, or in Purgatory, or possibly in the next world.
Aw, Kinzo has a real friend. Aw.
Kinzo's not lying that his days are numbered. It's just not because of health problems.
Yeah.
It's because of horrible magic rituals.
Maybe he knows that they're lying to him as well, but is also just like, my days are numbered. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
You're right. Nanja didn't say anything beyond that, and with a motion made smooth by familiarity, pushed the button on the table that would release the auto lock. Then after looking at Kinzo's back one last time, he left the study. As he did, Genji's voice came in from the hall. If you are ready, master, I will now carry in your dinner.
It may be my final dinner. I must savor it. Please, prepare it.
As you wish.
Genji wheels in a cart, and it's just got Veyato sitting on a plate.
Just like,
It's me, the ultimate snack.
the dinner's at the end down there. Get to suck. Are your preparations complete? Oh, nope, that's it's Genji. And are your preparations complete as well, master?
Indeed. In the time leading up to this day, this room has been carefully wrapped in a multitude of barriers. Even if her roulette chooses me, I will definitely repel it. I will remain alive and will surely become one of those who reach the Golden Land. I shall repulse the visit of the Reapers trying to drag me off to the land of the dead.
How's that gonna work out for you, Kenzo?
Probably poorly. I imagine we'll find him on fire and with a stake in him. Excuse me. I have come to serve your meal.
Shannon entered the VIP room, bowing her head and pushing the serving cart. The young woman by the window, gazing out into the supposedly empty darkness, was definitely that witch.
So, it's Shannon this time. How long it's been. Huh. Your face isn't nearly as pale as it once was. I can see you're no canon. I hardly recognize you.
Did you just say I'm not canon?
Yeah.
None of this is canon?
Thank you very much.
Shannon solemnly prepared dinner. There were actually several things she wanted to ask the witch, but they were all jumbled up and she didn't know where to start. Her heart was also jumbled up and she didn't even understand her own emotions, so she could only do her job dispassionately with everything still vague. However, the witch saw what was in her heart. You can't hide anything from a witch.
I won't apologize. I am a witch after all. Apologize for what?
That sentence had too many syllables in it. Apologize!
Come now. Canon must have told you about it. I only rescued your love life because of my mischievous spirit. It was nothing more than a seed I sowed so I could watch your love grow complicated, become twisted, and fail. I imagine some people think it's more fun to hear about love than to have it. You couldn't possibly be trying to thank me, right? Evil witch and all, yeah? I am. No matter what kind of ulterior motive you had, when you gave me the magic of love, it doesn't change the fact that I received it from you. So even if you sowed that seed, knowing that the two of us wouldn't be able to stay together for life, I won't hold a grudge against you. It seems furniture is dull after all. This is where I show my skill by cooking it into something interesting. I don't understand what you're thinking, Beatrice-sama. You are a great witch, and people like us don't even reach your feet. Although we could. Nor
Maybe
can
later.
we even imagine your grand thoughts. But there is at least one thing I can say. What is it? Thank you for teaching me to be human. You said it yourself. I am no longer furniture. Be silent, furniture. If you were a true human, hearing the announcement of your death on the day that you were to receive an engagement ring should have you dancing around mad with grief.
It's a good face. Can we see that face in the...
Oh!
Oh. I like how her smile is unnaturally large in the new images.
Yeah.
Like, that is a good touch.
Yeah.
However, does not make up for the rest of it.
What are you doing? Your face looks so enlightened, as though you've accepted everything. Truly an anticlimax furniture. That is to say, that's reversed my earlier climax.
What? I didn't know you could do that. You can't just take it back afterwards. It's not, there's a no take backsies policy.
No. I am not furniture. Be silent, furniture. I won't be silent because I'm not furniture. Are you saying you won't obey my orders? Furniture obeys orders, but a human decides for herself whether to obey orders or not. So I won't obey your orders. I take back what I said. You really are interesting. If I hadn't sowed those seeds, you probably would have allowed the ceremony to control your fate, without clinging to any emotions. But now you've grown to become something truly interesting, something that will entertain me to no end. That as well. For I am not fond of boredom. Dinner is ready. Here you go. Doesn't this look delicious? If Goda makes it to the Golden Land, perhaps I shall commission him as my chief cook. I heard from Canon-kun something about how, if I rejected George-san's proposal, you promised not to make me a sacrifice. Indeed, I said as much. You would make an ideal potential sacrifice for the second Twilight, but because Canon cried and screamed and, well, other things asking that I spare you, I graciously listened to his words.
Don't do it, Shannon. She'll make you do unmentionable things. Do her unmentionables. Those unmentionables being her toes.
With the condition that you abandon your engagement, of course. See how gracious I am. What a foolish offer. And what a foolish threat. So you used that to thoroughly bully Canon-kun, did you? Huh.
Huh?
So you comprehend.
Apparently Shannon had seen through it. She had apparently guessed at how the witch had bullied and humiliated Canon with that horrible promise as bait.
I made him crawl on the carpet and kiss my
No!
shoes.
Close your ears, Shannon! Do not listen to it! No matter how tempting they may look. Those cute little toes. Oh no! It's gotten to me! Stay back, foot witch!
And that's not all. Do you want to hear the other ways in which I humiliated him?
Shannon silently shook her head.
There's a lot of things you can do with shoes, you know.
No! Stop this! Stop it! Stop! Bird, make her stop! Maybe. Just give it a little longer.
I've finally come to understand you. You like to bully, confuse, and trouble people, and you do it to entertain yourself. So now I know for sure, the one single way I can resist you. And what might that be? I don't care about you. I'll carry out the fate that has been given to me, that's all. I won't entertain you.
Whoa! That face! Damn! Damn! I think that's the first time we've ever seen Beato legitimately worried.
Yeah, I don't care about you?
The witch's features twisted in hatred for just an instant. It disappeared immediately, but the expression that briefly rose to her face was rare for the witch, whose malicious smile usually never faded for a second.
I see, so you might resist me in that way. How amusing. How truly entertaining. I'll kill you. You and your lover both. If that's the fate you've decided upon, do as you will. I won't be afraid and I won't stand against you. After all, I don't believe that the cruel fate that's coming is controlled by your will. We humans know nothing about fates that might come to pass in the future. That's why I'll live to the fullest until the last instant, following my convictions and the fate set before me. Fate is just a roll of the dice. There's no malice in it. Even if you claim there is, I won't believe it.
Go, Shannon! You did, yes! Yay! Win one for Team Battler! Right?
Yeah.
This is a win for our side.
Huh?
Oh.
Oh. Oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
Oh, shit.
It's fine. There we go.
So even though you've quit being furniture, you have no fear of death. It seems you believe this will bore me, but you couldn't be more wrong. The thought of seeing whether you can hold on to that view until the last moment merely serves to intrigue me more and more. I can't stand this. Why did you take the form of a human, appear in front of us, speak with human words and ridicule us? If you hadn't appeared in front of us, if you hadn't predicted the future, we would have been able to live life to the fullest until the last moment. That's what witches do. I live off your fates, reigning as a high-order being does over low-order beings. Your fates are nothing more than fragments. If I cup my hands together, I could scoop out as many of those as I want. Just like... Wait, who's talking still?
That's Beto.
Okay, good. Just like no matter how... Just like how... Just...
Do you want to try that again?
Yes.
All right.
Just like how no matter what the beef cows I raised might babble, it doesn't change the fact that I'll be having them for dinner. We are powerless, so we cannot fight against your ceremony or fate, but I can make you unhappy right now. Huh? Does that mean no toe job?
Why do you want a toe job from everyone?
Don't worry about it.
I am worried about it.
You should be.
You just said don't worry about it.
And how are you planning to accomplish this? By walking away from this place right now. No matter how I respond to your words, it will only amuse you. Refusing to respond to your questions is my only method of resisting you. I see. You might be able to take a shot at me. But you cannot defeat me, yes? I have the power to kill anyone for eternity.
Then do it. Put me out of my fucking misery.
No. I cannot wait to see whether you can keep up that resistance in an endlessly repeating cycle of death and rebirth.
Wait, what do you mean endlessly repeating?
Don't worry about it. Don't you forget it, okay?
Is she somehow going to remember this next time we loop?
Maybe. You spoke those words yourself. Well then, if you will excuse me. If you need anything, please call me.
Shannon, Beto just keeps calling her and,
Yeah.
and not saying anything, just like, or like, hey, is your refrigerator running? Shannon gave a reserved bow and faced away. With that gesture, maybe she really did take a shot back at the witch, just as Beatrice had said. Because when the witch called out again, she sounded a little more quick-tempered than she had before.
Canon thanked me. Can't you? Can't you thank me for bringing me your day of rest? Furniture may be happy when their day of rest comes, but I am a human, so I have nothing to thank you for. Is that all you have to say? You plan to accept George's ring, yes? Don't forget that if you do, I will abandon the promise I made with Canon. The promise that you would not be selected as a sacrifice. If you need anything else, I'll have someone else come. If you will excuse me.
A flat-out interruption. Shannon still hadn't answered her. Damn, Shannon! And the sound of the door closing came instead of an answer. Shannon's resistance probably struck far more deeply into the witch than Shannon herself thought. because an expression of hatred once again rose to Beatrice's face.
Son of a bitch, now I'll have to suck my own toes.
What? Okay, that's mildly impressive from like a mechanics and like stretching standpoint, but why? Why would you share that? She had made Cannon submit, even though he hadn't been ensnared until the end. Whereas Shannon, who had been so easily ensnared before, refused to submit this time.
I see. So, this state of affairs is amusing after all. Perhaps I really am still young.
Yeah, you're only like, what, 1,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a couple more years.
Okay.
Like a couple thousand, tens of thousands.
This is why I haven't tired of life after 1,000 years.
This was the most fabulous part of the family conference. Dinner. In the past, when Kinzo had been serious about the conference, he'd taken everyone's yearly gathering for dinner very seriously. Any embarrassments during the dinner would shame him greatly as the host, so he had given Natsuhi stern orders to avoid mishaps at all costs. Because of that, she and Krause eventually hired Goda, but confidence in his cooking abilities. Thanks to that, they'd become able to serve wonderful dinners they could be confident in. By that time, Kinzo had closed himself up in his study and never appeared for dinner. Maybe you could call that ironic.
Dinner is like one of my top 3 favorite parts of the family conference.
What are the other 2?
Breakfast and lunch.
I'm going to prepare myself another hot pocket. When the main dish for tonight, calf steak, was set out, Goda began to describe it proudly, further stimulating everyone's appetites. The sauce here is Bordelaise. Of course, the red wine base I used was excellent even among those made in Bordeaux. But in addition, I prepared an original blend of this house, a blend of choice alcohol from around the world to further deepen the taste. This sauce is limited to this year. I sincerely hope you all enjoy your meal. Isn't that wonderful? However, isn't Bordelaise sauce common to French cooking? One seems like using alcohol from fans with that is heresy. Proud someone. Today is the annual family conference. The dinner for those who normally live far away and who have traveled far from across the world to gather together. I realize it would be most fitting to have a sauce made from a blend of fine alcohols from all over the planet. We've never met each other before, so I had it specially prepared.
Wonderful. I do like fine alcohols from across the world.
I don't understand people who get shitty about the dinners that have been served to them. Like, holy shit. First of all, you're rich enough to have someone serving you dinner. And like that should end the discussion right there. But second of all, like if someone's like, I went to all this preparation to create something really tasty and unique for this, why are you giving them back talk?
When you're rich enough to have no real problems, you have to make up your own problems.
Oh my god.
A truly wonderful cook, that's what you are. Food and medicine work twice as well if you sell it right. It's already twice as delicious as normal food, and the advertising makes it twice as good as that. That comes to, like, 16 times? I don't know, I can't do powers of 2. The taste keeps doubling and doubling.
Isn't he a business person? Shouldn't he be able to do, like, math?
Wahahaha.
No? Come on, Nissan. That question of yours was obviously a plant. No doubt about it. You totally set Goda-san up to steal the show on that one. Yeah, I think so. Oh, there might be some people here who didn't notice today's food was in the French style. For all people just said that avoiding butter was a virtue, but that's the Spanish style.
Oh my god, they're just gonna
I
fight about different
border,
cuisines, right? For like all dinner. I fucking hate them.
I admit there's something I appreciate about knowing a topic so thoroughly that you're able to snipe at people over very minute details like that. Like I admit there's a certain appeal there.
Still, hurry up and get staked.
Right. That's not what I meant.
will you please not take a part of the conversation out of context and make stuff up?
It's a very delicious sauce. Goto-san, you certainly are amazing.
It's a great honor to receive your praise. And this is all thanks to Madam's habitual guidance.
No, it was all Gota's idea. I only listened to the recipe and approved of it. I only know how to cook traditional Kanto cuisines like cornbread and sausage and gravy. Y'all.
People know why that joke is that joke, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think that's clear enough, but okay.
Anyway, I would very much like some cornbread and sausage and gravy.
Damn, right? Oh my god.
Some grits.
Some grits. Now I'm thinking about food, damn it. It looked like the siblings quickly got into a loud argument about the sauce. But for the most part, dinner proceeded peacefully. Excuse me. However, a certain question they desperately wanted to ask burned inside each of one of them. It was about that visitor, the 19th person, the Golden Witch. In actuality, Ava and Rudolph and the rest were very much on their guards during this meal. If the mystery guest was ever going to be introduced, this dinner table would be the most appropriate place to do it. However, no place was set at the dinner table for the witch. Family conference would begin in earnest after the meal, and previous experiences told them that it might last until deep into the night. However, they couldn't imagine why such a person should be kept hidden until that late. They were going to be introduced in the end anyway.
Twist. Beato was invited to dinner, but insisted that the only place appropriate for her chair was the middle of the table. So she couldn't come because there would be no place for the food.
When asked why, she said, "That way everyone can get on my toes." So Ava and Rudolph and the rest were starting to feel a certain suspicion. Perhaps this guest was unknown even to Kraus. Kraus is the only one we haven't seen interact with her yet, right?
We haven't seen any of the adults other than Rosa.
Okay, so
and Kyrie.
yeah, okay, so Rosa did, but Kyrie then reported that to these two, right?
Yeah.
To that group.
So they know, though they haven't interacted with her.
Right.
Kraus may not even know.
That's what I was getting. Kraus, I don't think even knows.
It'll be hilarious if they have it all set up as this, oh, Kraus is trying to fuck us thing. Kraus is trying to screw us over, and they finally spring it on him, and he's like, what the fuck?
The fuck?
Who are you talking about?
Nah,
There's no one else here.
Who the fuck is this? What are you talking about? Nah. This wasn't an assassin called by Kraus to give him an advantage in the inheritance problem.
Little do they know.
Then maybe they should speak frankly to Kraus beforehand, creating a common front to resist anything disadvantageous to the four siblings. If she was Kinzo's assassin.
Little do they know.
Whose purpose was to keep the inheritance from being handed over to the four siblings. The enmity between Kraus and the other siblings could only become a weak point that benefited the enemy. Well then, please enjoy at your leisure. Well, I don't know why he's getting... Well, then please enjoy at your leisure. Yeah, there we go. His voice hasn't been consistent, but I do. It's more of like a low round kind of like. Well then, please enjoy at your leisure.
Low and round like him.
Low and round like treat. When he finished explaining the reasoning behind the table setting and cooking, Goto tried to leave the room, but Kyrie called to him to stop with a small voice. Yes, Kyrie-sama. What is it?
Please excuse me. I was under the impression we had company today, but can we expect to be joined at the dinner table?
She had planned on saying it nonchalantly, but unfortunately, it reached the ears of Natsuhi, who was sitting in the next seat over. It seemed as if Natsuhi had heard it at... Wait, has Natsuhi not seen? I thought Natsuhi also ran into Beato today.
I don't believe so.
I thought... Oh. It seemed that Natsuhi had heard it as, even though the guests are here, why hasn't the host come to dinner? In other words, that Kyrie had asked whether Kinzo was going to join them for dinner.
The family head is not at his best, so he said he would take dinner in his study. I believe my husband explained that in the beginning.
Wait, she doesn't know. I had it in my head that she had also run into Beato at some point, but I guess not.
I'm sorry. That's not what I meant.
Does she?
I'm sorry. It's not like I'm a professional, okay? I try.
Keep doing it that way.
I'm trying so hard.
I'm not laughing at you.
Okay.
I promise I'm not.
Okay. Natsuhi's reaction. I have like a cold and my nose is stuffy, but I'm still here out. I'm doing my best to create the content people want.
Out here on that content grind.
Out here on that content grind. Natsu's reaction instantly told Kiria that this unknown visitor was also unknown to Kraus and his wife. Which meant, on the chessboard inside Kiria's mind, she could hear the clattering of pieces as they rearranged themselves.
Clatter, clatter. Fuck, I can't hear myself think. All the pieces are clattering.
What do you mean we have company? Battler, who had been sitting next to Natsuhi, seemed to have heard Kiria's words without misunderstanding them. Thinking it strange that someone else would be invited to today's family conference, he spoke up incredulously. And thanks to that, the uncomfortable feeling building in the siblings' chest suddenly exploded. Everyone looked at Goda at the same time. Judging by their reactions, it was clear that no one here had invited that mystery woman. For an instant, Goda was startled to find everyone's gazes gathered on him, but because of his naturally vain personality, this actually gave him a feeling of superiority. Therefore, he answered in an extremely calm and graceful manner. That is correct. Our guest wanted to eat alone in the VIP room and is being served there. That extremely graceful and reasonable response of Goda's made it obvious to everyone that a 19th person, a visitor, existed.
VIP room? A guest? What? Who are you talking about?
Natsuhi's words echoed the question that everyone who didn't know about the appearance of the Golden Witch was thinking. I could have sworn she ran into... Okay, I'm wrong. For a while, Goda was disoriented, caught completely off guard by this sudden interrogation. This was a guest who had been treated with such deep respect. He hadn't imagined that Kraus and his wife might not even know about her. The guest is, Beatrice somehow.
Beatrice, see? Oh, Beatrice came.
Maria had been telling the other cousins over and over again that she had met Beatrice that day. The cousins answered flippantly, but they hadn't believed. So their eyes grew wide. Except Battler. Sorry, I totally thought you were joking, Maria. So she really was there. Wait, really? Or was he obfuscating?
I don't know.
No, because he had that conversation with Beato not a little while ago, where they were like, so you're just gonna strut in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but that's Meta Battler.
Yeah, but Meta Battlers get.
We don't know fully what the mechanics are yet.
We know that I believe they're the same in some regards, because this battler knows enough to make his moves and then take a nap when he's not needed.
By Beatrice, you mean that Beatrice with the gold?
Yep, I've been saying she exists the whole time. No one believes.
Sorry, Maria-chan, that's not how we meant it.
After learning that everyone had doubted Beatrice's existence, Maria, who had been in a good mood all day, completely lost her temper. George, who sat in the next seat over, tried frantically to calm Maria. Gouda, is this some sort of dinner entertainment? It's quite a performance. Aniki, quit playing dumb. You called her here, right? Called? Called whom? From where?
Nissan. Let's be clear about this. Who is she? Surely you aren't going to tell us it really is the Beatrice from that portrait, right?
I don't have a clue what you people are talking about. Gora, you really aren't joking, right? I was just ordered by Genji-san.
Call for Genji immediately.
When Natsuhi yelled, Goda sped out into the hallway. The sound of the door being thrown open was the spark that suddenly set the dinner table ablaze.
Oh, fuck, my dinner's on fire.
There's no driver at the wheel. So you're saying you're in the dark too, Aniki? Who called her? Was it Dad? I don't know anything about this. It seems you people think I've been pulling the strings behind the scenes, but that's a huge misunderstanding.
Calm down, Kraus, Nissan. We've gone past the stage of skirmishing with each other. You're saying even you don't know this mystery person.
Oh no.
Then something crazy is going on.
No, why are you trying to... Oh, I want it there. Why are you trying to flee? We're playing footsies and Vivian keeps trying to leave and I'm like, no, I want it.
Okay. Hideyoshi-san, can't you be a little more discreet with your words? My husband would not invite unnecessary people to the family conference.
Obviously. What are you people talking about? Are you saying the witch of the portrait has broken out of her frame and appeared? Is this like my favorite game, Super Mario 64? Ugh.
His mustache is so much worse in the new one. Like, look at that new one.
Oh yeah,
you could fit a continent between his nose and upper lip.
Yeah.
This is so much better.
That's so much better. It's not as though anyone's actually met this witch face to face.
I met her.
Ava and Rudolph nodded at Rose's proclamation.
You whip, I met her too. Uncle Grouse, believe it. Believe it. Believe mama.
Oh no.
You whip, 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 whip.
Maria discovered Naruto.
I want to make a shadow clone.
A brief tension was broken, and Maria also started to make a ruckus. By now, the room was thoroughly wrapped in chaos. Yeah, this is very, very different starting.
I don't have a clue what's going on. So what does it mean? Does it mean the witch who gave grandfather the gold is showing up as a special guest this year?
But is that really true? Aunt Rosa didn't see it wrong, did she?
I met her too.
Aunt Rosa, are you sure? Yes. Maria and I met her, and we even talked to her. I met her. That was definitely a witch. Believe me. I definitely didn't see it wrong, or hallucinate, or anything. What on earth was that?
Interesting. In the instant before the typhoon arrived, Rosa definitely met her witch in the rose garden. But the scene had been so hard to accept as truth that the more she spoke of it like this, the less she understood what she had encountered. Ironically, since she was losing her composure, the more frantically she tried to cling to her claim, the more confused and hazy the thing she was describing became. Because of that, it only took a single calmly spoken sentence to confirm the nature of what she was describing beyond doubt.
I also met with her. I greeted, well, couldn't really call it that. I exchanged a few words with her. It's definitely not something that Rosa-san just saw wrong.
Kiria-san, are you serious?
Yes, but she didn't tell me her name, so I can't say for certain that she was Beatrice. However, I'm sorry if this is subjective, but since I met her in the entrance hall, I was able to compare her with the face with the portrait. My first impression was that this portrait has to be hers. It's all just subjective.
That isn't possible. In the first place, where did that woman come from? The only boat arriving today was the one that brought all y'all here. Was she on that boat?
Well, it is hard to say for sure. Of course, I don't remember any woman like that getting off the boat with us.
But she could have been, say, water skiing behind it. We wouldn't even have noticed.
There's no way to have noticed that.
Oh, was that all? Maybe she was the boat. Can you prove there wasn't a boat besides the one we rode in on? You can't. Can't prove one didn't arrive.
It makes sense. If another boat did arrive, that might be possible to prove it. If someone saw it and said they saw it, then you're done. But it's impossible to prove that such a boat didn't arrive. Even if everyone says that no such boat arrived, they didn't see it arrive. You can't prove that it didn't arrive secretly. Is that the thing they call a devil's proof? It'd be simple to prove that the devils exist. All you have to do is meet a devil. But it's impossible to prove that devils don't exist. Just by saying that no one has ever met a devil, you can't deny the possibility that they're hiding away somewhere humans can't go. In other words, being an asshole. You can't deny the existence of aliens for exactly the same reason. Until humanity searches the whole space and can show perfectly that aliens don't exist, you can't be sure that they don't. And it's definitely impossible for us to ever check the entirety of space for the existence of aliens. And this is why people who are arguing don't take arguments like this with any value. Sure, you can't prove the existence of something. So, okay. But there's, like, you can't prove the non-existence of, like, pretty much everything. Why would we give value to the one thing that you're wanting to talk about over anything else? I also can't prove that slugs don't have a large society underneath the Earth's crust and are plotting.
But wouldn't it be cool if they did?
But would it be cool if they did? I
do.
can't prove there's not a little tea kettle orbiting around the sun exactly where we can never see it. But you know what? All of those claims have exactly the same truth value behind them. So if we accept that one, we accept every other one. And that's why it's dumb. Fuck. I hate this kind of argument so fucking much. It's like, oh, well, you can't prove it didn't happen. It's like, well, no, but you need to give me some more reason to believe in it than that. Oh, fuck. Don't be like that. That's what I'm coming down to. Don't be like that. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Therefore, while there may be a number of ways to prove aliens do exist, it will always be impossible to show the proof denies their existence.
So, any discussion about there being a second boat would just be a waste of our time. She wasn't on the boat with us, that much is a fact. so she must have arrived on this island through some other means.
That's right. There may be no need to discuss how she came here. What's important is that she's actually in this mansion now, and doesn't feel like having dinner with us.
How rude.
Am I wrong, though?
Okay, let's review. Right now, there's another guest on this island other than the 18 people with the Ushiromi family. This is a guest even Aniki and Natsuhi-san don't know about, right?
I know nothing, as a rule. Also about what you're talking about.
Be silent for now. Your headache will get worse. It is as my wife says. I have no idea what you people have been talking about up until now. Then there can only be one answer. Father called her here. Called her here for today's family conference.
That's not wrong.
For the family conference? Again, why? I don't know that. Oh my, we're already getting so many angry faces. Oh, I love it. It's like getting to the breakdown in an Ace Attorney case at the very end. You're like, oh yeah, fucking writhe, you asshole. I don't know that. I'm questioning you because I thought you might know.
Ava, could you give it a rest? Kraus Nissan said he doesn't know. So here's what we've got. Father stealthily invited the Witch of the Portrait as a secret guest. And she met with Rosa-san and Maria-chan and then Kyrie-san. That's all for now. If she has something to say to us, she could just show herself right away. Now we've got to wonder why she shut herself up without greeting us.
Rosa, that's your cue. Does this mean Dad, who never gave a crap about this family conference in the first place, secretly called a new mistress here? And had her wear the clothes of his ideal witch?
That's hot.
Okay, actually, that's really odd. This day's too important for that explanation to fly.
There can only be one reason. To join in on the family conference. She wants to claim some of that right to father's inheritance.
That's still not wrong. Ava is distressingly right so far. Not for the reasons that she thinks.
But she's still right.
Ridiculous. The family head wouldn't have something as filthy as a mistress.
I told you to be quiet. I've lived in this mansion with father all this time, and I've never heard a thing about something like that. Research plausibility to the limit and assume father had an illegitimate child with some mistress decades ago. Then maybe father searched her out and called her here today. Is that what you're trying to say?
Dear, it's absurd to think father has such a child. To waste the noble blood of the Ushiromiya family on a mistress. The noble blood of the Ushiromiya family is meant to adorn the walls and floor. This is nothing more than a few people making wild claims. It's obviously a fantasy, a delusion, a daydream. Or is everyone taking part in some kind of act to trick my husband?
What act? If anyone's acting, it's you.
Quit it, Aniki. Natsuhi-san may be a bit over vehement, but she's right. Kyrie saw her. I didn't. Neither did you, Aniki. But Rosa did. That means she exists. There are people who can prove she exists, so we're sure right away that she does. It's the opposite of the devil's proof. And I want to meet her too. I want to ask her directly what kind of business she has with the Ushiromi family.
Murder business.
I agree with you on that. I do indeed wish to inquire as to what business she has on Rokkenjima. Don't play dumb. There's only one thing she could be after. Father's inheritance. We should work out our future plans with a lawyer who's hot on inheritance issues. If the mistress claims equal rights as mother, then our shares will be cut right in half.
We should work out a plan with a lawyer who's hot on inheritance issues.
Do you know any lawyers that are hot? I only know one, but he's gay.
That'll still work. Wait a second, everybody. Genji-san will come very soon. He knows everything. I'm sure he'll answer our questions. Until then, let's stop talking about this. Hey you, kids! Sorry, but the adults have to start talking about something complicated. Return to the guest house.
But I wanted to eat food.
Rosa yelled at the children, slightly overcome with emotion. The children didn't understand why they were suddenly being yelled at this time, but Ava and the rest realized it too late. They were talking so bluntly about the filthy topic of the inheritance right in front of the children.
Of course they wouldn't want their children to remain. So they all immediately agreed with Rosa's plan.
That's right, just as Rosa-san says. George, take all the cousins and go back to the guest house. Y'all play nice together.
It's amazing that this is all it takes for like the entire semblance of calm and put togetherness about the family to like completely
Instantly
shatter.
implode.
Yeah, if things don't go like exactly like, I'm honestly surprised that some of them weren't able to adapt better.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised that this is all it took. This is only chapter 2. Like, if we got 6 more loops ahead of us,
How far downhill can we go from here?
right? Like, by the time we're at the loop number 8, they're just gonna be like, Beatrice steps a toe on the island, and they'll be like, let's go all and murder everyone.
Yeah, I figure we have until like loop 4 before they start killing each other before the ceremony starts.
Loop 5, they start making the ceremony happen on their own.
George, do as you're told. Take all the cousins and leave right now.
But I wanted to eat.
Wait a second, Mother. We still haven't finished eating.
You will. And they're not even come yet.
We will have Goda-san take dessert to the guest house. So leave. Jessica, from here on, the adults will be talking together. Go. Sure, Mom. Even though I'm still eating.
Well, guess I won't be the only exception.
Thanks for understanding, Badler-kun. But you sure are lucky.
Huh?
Why? I'd want to leave if I could.
I bet you indulge, and I'll let you adults enjoy your happy family chat about the inheritance. Wait, why was that the transition that they used?
Mew.
I'll also leave my shirt. At any rate, it appears my turn will not come tonight. Nanjo quietly rose to his... You gotta read the letter before dinner ends, Rosa. Rosa.
She will.
Rosa.
Dinner won't end for a long time.
Yeah, but I thought she was gonna do it while everyone's here. From his seat in the farthest corner, he had been calmly watching the whole discussion without butting in. Surely that reaction of his was very adult, just what you'd expect of a calm old gentleman. When Nanjo rose from his seat, it ended up encouraging the others who were supposed to leave. Children noisily rose from their seats, and as they hurried to the hallway, the servants returned. I apologize for taking so long. I have called Genji. I was checking to see that all the doors and windows were shut, so it took me some time. My apologies.
Come on, children, to the guest house. Goda-san, my apologies, but could you carry the children's portion of the dessert to the guest house?
Is that what you wish? It seemed Goda wasn't amused to see the dinner he'd worked so hard on interrupted like this. He sent Natsuhi a look as though asking her whether that was really okay.
Do as Rosa-san says, and it will not be necessary to set out dessert for us. Do not approach the dining hall until we call for you. Tell the rest of the servants to do the same. Understood?
Yes, as you wish. Come, everyone. Shall we go? Maria-san, you mustn't trouble your mother anymore.
I want to talk about Beto too. No.
Maria-chan, could you tell us about Beatrice in the guest house? I really want to hear about the witch, okay? You're pretty darn smooth, George Nissan. I'm impressed.
You sure you don't have kids? You're too used to this. George's words had completely restored Maria's good mood. And now she took the initiative, telling the others to head on to the guest house. It looked like Goda didn't like being kicked out himself, but he couldn't disobey Natsuhi, so he left the room with Battler and the rest, closing the door. There's some way I might be of service anyway.
Yeah, there sure is. We've got a whole bunch of questions. In fact, every one of us does. So much that we almost had to have a lottery to see who gets to ask first.
Ha! A lottery, huh?
But no matter who wins the lottery, the first question will be the same, won't it? That's right. Genji-san, answer me honestly. Who is this person called Beatrice in the VIP room right now? So we don't get to see the rest of their conversation. All right. Well, shit is really going from 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah.
I am impressed that like it only took this one change for so many of the adults to lose their composure that quickly. Like, I assumed that given how well they held their composure during the event of the first one, that like, okay, some of them were probably pretty practiced at this. It'd take a little bit more than that to phase them, but no, this is all it takes. I am legitimately worried about like how subsequent episodes will go if like all it takes is like I appear and then I do a little magic trick. Ooh. Like, how the fuck is that gonna change everything? God damn. Anyway, we're done.
Yeah.
We'll see you next episode. Bye.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.